Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Walk on Wednesday. Walk on Wednesdays when we bring in some people from our audience and for 10 minutes, pick their brain, hear their story. They're usually got a cool little story to tell. But before we introduce our special guests, good morning, Kastuba. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, Raghunath. Good to be here with you this morning. What is that mug? Haven't seen that before.
Oh, that is a Mandalorian mug. Thank you. But it's my naughty by nature, but it's from the yoga on State. It's a yoga studio.
Yogi by
in
nature.
San Diego. Yogi by nature. It's sort of a naughty by nature ripoff. Huh?
It's not because I hate you. You don't know that, Raghunath. Okay, forget it.
No, I don't. What is that from? Salt and Pepper?
No, from Naughty by Nature. You don't know Naughty?
Oh, from Naughty by Nature.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I ever tell you I met Salt and Pepper?
I think you did.
Yeah, Mara didn't even know that. I thought I've told you all my stories.
Mara seems impressed.
I met Salt and Pepper, and I like pepper.
11-year-old me is very impressed.
Oh yeah.
Right,
I didn't teach them yoga or anything.
You go under the knife, under anesthesia tomorrow. I'm praying for you.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, you know what they do it? It's not left to human skill anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they do it with robots. I've got a robot operating on me tomorrow.
That can't be.
And they said it very nonchalantly, like, yeah, we're going to do it. It won't be a big deal. We have robots doing it. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm not.
They make it sound like it's no big deal. Yeah, we have a robot, and then we're going to bring in an alien to do the finish it up. So yeah, it's a little shocking how they can say that. Yeah, we've got a robot running this whole department.
I'm sure you will have a story to tell.
I think I can do the show tomorrow, though.
Okay, good.
Oh my God, Amy Steller says Peppa. It's Peppa. It's not Pepper. Peppa lives by Amy Steller. This is shocking. I wonder if you remember me.
So why don't we get moving here? Why don't we ask Mara if she has any announcements today?
Okay. We have Back to Recovery group meetings at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time today. And Michelle Berger is offering an asana class for our Patreon members this afternoon at 3:30.
That's it.
Bhakti Recovery group. A lot of people are sitting on the fence. They think, you know what? Maybe a Bhakti Recovery group. Maybe. Guess what, people? It works if you work it, right?
Okay.
The motorboat goes when you start the motor. The gun fires when you pull the trigger. You can't just look at the website. You got to go to the meeting if you want it to work. Don't sit on the fence about these things. Just like if you're thinking about chanting japa, it works if you work it. You got to chant the japa for it to work. You don't have to weigh it out in your mind if it's going to work. Try it, experience it.
And I guess it's not like
experience it.
If you show up, it's not like, oh, what are you doing here? Just show up. It's
show up.
You won't be embarrassed.
No, because I'm talking to some people and they feel like very qualified for it even sometimes, but they're just like, I just can't do it. yeah, then it's not going to work. If you don't want to live your life like last year, then you got to do something different this year.
Okay.
And this is sort of why we're all here today.
I'm doing
What do
it.
you-
I took up a makeover on Monday, Raghunath.
Oh, really? You're
Yeah.
making some.
I'm
You're making
applying.
something.
I'll
part
tell
of
you
your.
about it next Monday, and let's see how it goes. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
See, even Costa Tuba does Makeover Monday.
Yeah, you gotta,
All right, let's bring on our special guest
self-discipline in life.
live.
Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. Let's bring on our special guest live
Let's
from
do
Mayapur. Welcome, Sue Devi and Prajumna, Harry Ball.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome, you two. This is a special call. I really love these people. They got a special thing going on, Raghunath.
Yeah. Phil, I don't know them. Tell me about them, please. Introduce
Okay.
them to me
Well,
and all of our audience.
Well, I was very honored to be asked by them to be interviewed recently when I was in Mayapur for they've got a YouTube channel called I Love Mayapur, right? I recommend everyone check this out. You just go to YouTube and you search for I Love Mayapur, which is spelled Mayapur. I Love Mayapur, which Mayapur is, of course, is very holy place on the bank of the Ganges River. It's the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya, and it's a really important place for bhakti yogis, and that's only going to increase because this temple of the Vedic planetarium is being built there. This massive, powerful temple, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that.
Breathtaking. Yeah.
But Sudevi and Prajumna Mishra, it's a really interesting YouTube channel because it's kind of like it's almost like it's a combination from what I've picked up from it's almost like these travel shows.
Like YouTube is famous for that now, but in a mundane way. They'll have like RV living and like all these people that live in RVs and tell their story.
So it's two things. It has it has that travel show kind of feel to it, where it's like, hey, we're going to show you a new place today. But it also has that very personal kind of like you're getting into the family's life and who they are, and so it's kind of like you step into their family and you get to see the whole community in Mayapur. But I think even beyond that, what it really does powerfully is it shows Western people and their appreciation of India and its culture and its spiritual culture. And the people of India, they watch it and they really appreciate it. But let's bring them on and let them speak about it. Prajumna Mishra, Sudevi, welcome to you. Can you just maybe just share a little bit about your background, where you're both from?
What do you mean?
Yeah, we from Germany. As I am from Germany. My husband is from
Austria.
Mhm.
And we had a pretty good upbringing.
Okay.
decent upbringing. And what do you want to know?
I'm just getting a little background. When I would imagine when you were in young in your teens or early 20s, you both got interested in bhakti.
Yes. So I was 24. I was in the middle or kind of in the end of my study. And then I met a devotee and he introduced me to this amazing new worldview. I was not expecting at all somewhere. And
I bet your parents weren't expecting it either.
No, no, they didn't. And they had their hard times with it. But now they're good. Now they know these are good people. These are nice people. I'm safe. So
I've seen videos where is it your father that you're bringing to India?
Yes. Meanwhile, our parents were here. My father was here in Mayapur. My mother also visited. She hesitated for a long time because the picture of India is not very well. I mean, you think you're going in the middle of slums and end up in some metal hut somewhere.
So they're scared of you.
So she was very scared, but finally she came, and now she was like, "Wow, why I waited so long? Why I waited so long to visit you? Because
beautiful.
now we're since 7 years here in Mayapur."
Okay, and Prajumna Mishra, you're from Austria, but you were living in Germany.
Yeah, I joined in Vienna and got to know Krishna consciousness in Vienna. I was there for a few years, then we closed down the temple, and then we all kind of moved away, or moved to Germany. And a little later, I met Sudevi in a temple, and I was running a restaurant. I did a lot of cooking in the Hare Krishna movement and had a restaurant. Then I was burned out from the restaurant, and then they said, let's pack our stuff and move to Mayapur.
Restaurants
It
are
was kind
tough. You gotta, there's no, they don't
Yes.
slow down. You gotta keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yes, yes, it was very tough. It was good. It was nice. It's always in association with devotees. We had you kind of do
Then
understand.
somehow you got this inspiration. You know what are we doing living here in this Western world, working hard with this restaurant? Why don't we move to Mayapur? Something like that?
Yes, this was kind of the idea. Of course, there's many aspects to it. Where we lived in Germany, there wasn't like a big community of devotees. We had a small preaching center, and we met like every 2 weeks, and to the Sunday feast, and said Haribol to each other. So that was kind of our association. And the kids were growing up. My son was becoming 6 years old, and he was supposed to go to school also in Germany. So homeschooling is not allowed in Germany. It's, you can just not do it. You have to send to a public school in Germany. Oh. So this was there also. And yeah, I was doing mainly festivals in the summer first. And before I had a restaurant, I just did, big festival in the summer, and was working in the summer and the winter, have kind of free time. So we went many times already to India. Even if the kids were smaller, we went to India almost every year in the winter for a few weeks. And so, yeah, so the meditation about going to Mayapur and actually spend more time there, lived there, came more and more in the foreground. And we actually realized, first of all, we thought, okay, India is you cannot live there. Okay, you can visit, go in 2 3 weeks and go quickly out again. But, we realized actually, it's coming together, especially here in Mayapur. There's a big community of international devotees, and there's a lot of things going on. It's a protective area. It's kind of a little bit secluded from this crazy outside India, I would say. It's beautiful nature. It's right at the Ganges. There's opportunity to do service and maybe have jobs. Okay, now internet is more easier to also have jobs here, and there's
so
plenty of good restaurants, and now they even have Amazon India. You can ship everything
Amazon
to your home.
India.
So,
I'm going.
Yes.
We're trying to get away from over here.
Kastuba, I think there's something special too about this YouTube channel. If you want to know the honest truth, I've seen your channel. It's really cool, because I think what it does is it gives permission for an American to be like, you know what, I can do that. They did it. You're sort of like trailblazing for a lot of people who just feel like, well, I was born in Long Island, I'm going to live in Long Island. I was born in Connecticut, I'm going to live in Connecticut. I was born here, I'm going to live here. And it sets like no, you can actually live wherever you want. You feel like you need more Krishna in your life. Take one giant step towards Krishna. Move right to Mayapur. Okay. What about my kids? Bring your kids with you. And you know what? I'm sure there was a lot of hurdles. I'm sure there was a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm sure there were a lot of Himalayan peaks to climb, so to speak. But you figure it out. You figure it out. What are we going to do for school? What are we going to do for food? Where are we going to live? You figured it out. And I think that sets a nice example. And what a great way for your kids to grow up. It's very international. It's very cultural, and it's very real. And I'm so happy you're broadcasting this and giving other people that type of hope that there is hope. If you want to change, if you want to make major changes, you just take major steps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some of their videos, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and some of their videos get literally like millions of views. I just, some people just figure it out. I love the idea of bhakti yogis taking bhakti into the popular culture in just creative ways. Like for instance, it can be a simple thing like they have a video called "The Best Places to Eat in Mayapur," and they just go to the different restaurants and they talk about them and they give little reviews of them. But that's got like 3.4 million views, and a lot. But it's not even like it's just kind of a subtle way of bringing people into another world and seeing how, I've seen one video where you're talking about like how feasts are served out, how prasadam is served out, how food is served out in a
Jagannath Puri.
Jagannath Puri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was that in Jagannath Puri?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Jagannath, to get Jagannath Prasadam.
And so it's just showing, like the culture of sitting people down and serving them one by one. It's a very different mood of eating. And I was just looking at like all the comments on that coming from Indian people saying, yes, this is the real culture. We need to get back to this. These people understand our
Right.
culture better than we do. It's really something to see, but I think you're really connecting with people. Do you have any interesting stories of people responding to you, and how your videos are affecting them?
I mean, we meet some in Mayapur, and then they even come to us. Oh, thank you to you. Because of you, we knew about Mayapur, and we came here. So this
They
is
search you out.
That's always the very positive,
that's
because
very nice.
we put out videos. It's like you're just uploading. You do it yourself. You never have the audience in front of you.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching. So it's
Right.
as you probably also know, you never know who's who's.
I mean, you have the people in front of you. It's
so,
different.
but of course,
No,
it's
but
a
it's
nice
true.
feedback to
I was
it's a nice
saying you
feedback
never
if
quite
people
know how many people are listening out there. Even if you see, the million people viewed this, but you don't see them, so you don't think they're out there, but they're actually out there and they're being inspired or influenced. So it's nice when they show up in person.
and show a person, then show their appreciation, and they actually can see maybe they came in touch of Christian consciousness from our videos, or the first time they came to Mayapur, they made their step to go to Mayapur. And sometimes especially Indians, when they're very they're sometimes very heartful people, very simple, but very grateful and humble, when they stand in front of you, like is it okay, she's all good, but they're like really sometimes they bow down to her, and it becomes too much. But it's
you become a big celebrity in India, Sudevi.
Not all over India.
Well, definitely in Bengal. And it's you're documenting something also, which is because this temple has been built in Mayapur, and of course the main temple, there's a temple that's been there for decades, but the massive temple is about to be opened up, soon. But you can see the building there; it's looming over Mayapur, and already, even though that temple hasn't officially opened, you can see that thousands and thousands of people are coming in busloads every day to visit this place. So it's kind of like there are certain temples in India, in Jagannath Puri and Sri Rangam and in Tirupati. There are certain places throughout India, these famous temples that are, many of them are many centuries old, where thousands and thousands and thousands of people visit every day, and they go on for centuries to be known as important places of pilgrimage. That's happening in Mayapur right now, but we're all kind of in on it at the beginning. Like we weren't there for the beginning of Sri Rangam. We don't even know when these temples began, but you're kind of documenting the birth of like, not that the place of pilgrimage hasn't been there for centuries, but that it'll become globally known, not only throughout India, but, and I picked, when I was there with all of you a little over a month ago, and as I was, passing through the airport, on my way out, it was just like everybody was asking me about Mayapur. Oh, I'm going there tomorrow. And like, the people, all the airlines people, all the security people. Yeah, well, I'm going to Mayapur.
Yeah. You can witness in the moment this changing from a village to a city.
Yeah.
So it's really like, in some parts it's still like a village type of Mayapur, but in a lot of parts it's already changing to a to a city. So many people coming, and every year more and more pilgrims are coming, and it's like
also as we understand and know that Mayapur is manifesting it, as we know from the scriptures, also Mayapur is manifesting its spiritual potency more and more. And I think this has all part to it, the temple and the community and the pilgrims coming together, and the building now a highway to Mayapur that people can reach better, and
because it wasn't easy to reach Mayapur in the past.
Yeah.
So
tough.
So I think it's all up, plays a part. And in the center, as you said, there is this temple, and in this temple there is the magnificent deities of Panchatattva who are, have the yoga avatars, and I think the potency is really manifesting in a grandiose way there.
No, Parmananda is asking us, when will the temple open? What's the schedule?
Yeah, we just bring out a video this week actually about it.
Oh,
They have in October or in November this year, they're having the opening the Nrsingadev wing. So that's one part of the temple.
okay.
It's one altar dedicated to Lord Nrsingadev. They will open this
So it'll be
part.
partially open this year.
So it will partially open this year, and the big opening should be end of 2024. So
I think we have to go there
about-
for that, Raghunath, and do live.
I think we have to go there. Yeah. You know, I went about, when did I go? I didn't go for like 30 years. And then
30?
a bunch of us, I know, since like not 30,
90.
maybe 1993. And then I went, I think, in
Yes.
2019. And I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I saw you.
You saw me?
Yes.
Didn't
'Cause he
even
lives
say
right in the
hi?
neighborhood. He lives next door to Tara's building. His building is next door to Tara's building. He lives right in that beautiful little.
Oh yeah, that is so nice. I love those buildings. Yeah, it's so beautiful how you just went for it. Krishna's taking care of you and your kids. Now, how are your kids affected by all this? I like there's everybody who's raising kids in America are like on our brains are like, how can we get our kids to think about Krishna? How can we get them to get into bhakti? How can we get them into mridanga and musical instruments and kirtan? Tell me about your kids' experience. What's it like for them? How old are they?
Yeah, we have a son and a daughter. She's 9, he's 11. So they're in the also changing mood from mommy to more and more. I don't want to know anything from you in the moment, mommy, anymore. Let me.
Oh, that happens in
go
Mayapur too?
Of course, it happens everywhere, I think. But the good thing is, the friends they have are devotee kids. We know the parents. We know there are in a lot of houses beautiful altars. So they're doing kirtan, and there's not much except devotee association here. And of course, they're kids. They do kid stuff. They're not always into Krishna. They're not always, yes, let's go to the morning program. Yoo-hoo. But but that's okay. They see it on a daily basis around them. And I think this is what affects them also and what they carry in their heart forward.
For example, like the whole last 6 months, we had this Mayapur Mellows, right? Actually, it's 100 meters from us. Like it's a big hall and
a big kirtan festival that was going on.
Big kirtans every Sunday. We make big kirtans like for 4 or 5 hours, kirtans, and more or less all the youth comes together from whole Mayapur because that's their party time on Sunday. They come out together and they have a big kirtans together, big nice dance, and after it's nice prasadam and they hang out together. So I mean they're just kids. They do a lot of kids stuff, but I think this is always somehow connected with Krishna consciousness, and that's the nice thing.
If you go to their YouTube page and you see the video where they interviewed me, the interview is done in the playground, which is kind of in the center of this little community. Like there's all these buildings around it, and you can just see the kids grow up right there in that playground. And on Sundays they kind of have like a little kind of like a open market where like
a flea market, or not a flea market, like a farmer's market,
something like that. Everybody comes. Some people cook, and people have different. Some people are, they have jewelry, or they have books, or they have
paintings.
It's
incredible.
Things, it's just
Mayapur is incredible.
Yeah,
Now, I'm ready to go to Mayapur right now.
Me too.
Come.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing. And the whole idea of the kirtan mellows, and this is how the youth they're partying. That's much different than the way Kostuba and me used to party. There's a much different way they party now in Mayapur. This is, yes, you're inspiring us all. I want to thank you for these videos, and let's spread the word about these even more. So you guys are doing a pretty good enough job. Matter of fact, you could be helping us out, but
they are.
But we want to at least have our audience know about you guys as well. So I'm really glad you guys are here today, and I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in Mayapur.
Yes,
that would be nice.
We are coming February. We'll be there.
Okay. Okay.
Please pray for us at
getting
the
ready.
lotus feet of Sri Sri Radhamadhava and Panchatattva, and take a dip in the Ganga for us.
We will. It's
It's
getting
getting
hot.
very hot there now, right?
Exactly.
How
Yes.
hot is it?
Yes. Well, it's getting over 30, 35 degrees.
We don't even know what that
Celsius.
means.
Yeah, got
And
no
it's
clue.
like
over
more
here.
than 100 Fahrenheit, I think. More than 100
Okay, it's
Fahrenheit.
getting
What?
hot.
And do you stay there? Okay,
Getting
this
hot.
is before you leave. Do you stay there for the summer, or do you go back to Germany?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah. Okay.
I
I'm
stay.
impressed.
He's going for work,
Yeah.
but then we have AC, so it's like
If you have AC, then it's livable.
Okay,
So it's okay. And if you have AC and the Ganga, then it's okay.
that's right.
Yeah, that's a good combo. AC and the Ganga.
Perfect. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for-
Haribo.
Yeah, thanks for having
Keep up
us.
the great
Thank you
work.
for having us on the show. Thank you very
Give
much.
our love to your family. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Kastuba.
Yeah, we've got to go back.
I got a Mayapur plan. Let's talk later today.
Yeah, we got to do Mayapur after Eco Village. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
plan. I got a plan.
All right.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we study the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmadatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Okay. Ready to get into it?
Are you ready, Mara? Where are we at? Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, Text 11.
Yeah. So what's going on here?
Well,
Okay. You want to say
well,
Huh? Do tell.
you and I know Judd Bart, who's been basically deaf, dumb, and blind his whole life, pretty much.
Acting
and
like
been
it.
not blind. Okay, I added that just for embellishment, and not deaf.
I think even they mentioned he was acting like he was blind sometimes. I think that is.
No,
mentioned.
sometimes you act. See, Kastuba said sometimes you're acting like
We
he
could
was
go
blind.
back. I think I mentioned that.
I thought he was acting deaf too. Anyway, he was like the village idiot. He played the role of the village idiot, even though he's incredibly wise, saintly, an exalted Mahatma, a Paramahamsa. And now he was taken by the king because they felt like, you know what, we need a palanquin carrier. And this is a big. They just looked at him as like, get that big doofus guy over there. He's strong. He'll do it. And then because he's so enlightened, when he was walking on the path, he sees some ants and he doesn't want to step on the ants. So he's almost like doing a little dance to get around the ants. And because of that, the palanquin is shaking. The king is being sarcastic. You fool. What are you, what's going on? And then he's correcting the king. He's saying, actually, you're right. I am a fool. You're right. I'm actually not carrying this properly because I'm not carrying the bot. He starts dropping heavy wisdom on the king. Here's a guy that the king thought was the village idiot is now coming off like the Paramahamsa that he is.
Yeah.
And the king is like a little shocked.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the king was being really sarcastic. He was, very condescending. He's sitting up on a palanquin, and he's yelling down at this person that's holding up the palanquin. Right? It's like it's pretty. It would really make a great drama, to watch this taking place. So he's
Let's
up
do it.
there. He's looking down at him, and he's being real sarcastic. Oh, you've been carrying this thing for so. They had just gotten started. Oh, you've been carrying this thing for so long. You must be really tired, and you're such a skinny little guy. But he's like a big. And then what Jadabar does now? He opens up his mouth. He starts to speak. Everybody's like, oh, we didn't even know this guy speaks.
Right.
But he begins to basically like his message here is he takes everything that king said, he turns it around and throws it right back at him from a whole nother perspective. So where the king, basically what he's saying is the king was speaking in a conventional sense, like referring to his body. right, which is temporary, referring to their social positions, which are temporary, and their social roles that they're playing, which are temporary. Jadabharta throws it all back from an unconventional or transcendental point of view, right? Saying, yeah, well, I'm not this body, so whatever you're saying about my body is true. You're saying these things about you're saying you're implying that I'm not tired. Well, the fact is, I am the soul. I'm never tired. You're saying that I don't look very strong. Well, the fact is, it's like my body is one thing, but I'm the soul. I'm another thing. And he's going to catch the king's attention, because the king has actually been trained in all this, although he's not thinking like that right now. And so this will get real interesting when he'll have a few more things to say to the king, and then the king's going to be like, "What have I done? Who am I? I've been in." Have you had that? I had experience once, Raghunath. I'll just tell you myself.
Tell me.
And I've shared this on the show before, where I was like the King Rahugana in this, and someone just.
And I was like the dullard.
No. First of all, it has
Not
nothing
with
to do
us.
with you, Raghunath, and I'm
Not
not
with
putting you
us.
down in any way. Okay.
Like Raghunath, you fool.
No, there was one time, and I've shared this. I know I've shared this with you before, but like when I was a monk, we'd get trained up. Like I was leading a party of, like I was a leader of a group of monks, right?
Yeah.
Even as a young monk, I was. And but it was a little bit like the Marines, it's like training, and it was like that, and we had our services to do and everything like that, and the culture was a bit materialist, not militaristic.
Militaristic.
There was like a hierarchy,
Militaristic.
and like kind of like putting someone in their place and correcting, that was part of the culture, which it's not entirely foreign to the yoga culture, but I think we got to be real careful with it, And so anyway, I was laying into someone who didn't carry out their duty right or something like that. I was getting a little hot with them. I had gotten frustrated. Maybe it had several times. And another person who was witnessing this, another monk who was witnessing this, just turned to me and said, "Oh, now I see you are just like the others too, right?" I was like, "What?" It's like you lose control of your mind, your anger. I can see you're just like that too, And it really caught me off guard, and it actually changed my life. It's like I really needed to hear.
You're still talking about it today.
I'm talking, and I've tried to really, because I had to consider, does my manifestation of anger, does it serve any purpose?
Sure. Is anger? Are you using anger for creative change, or is anger just controlling you?
Yeah, and so it made me really think about it. So that's what's going to happen to the king here. The apparently dullard is going to turn around and start to speak to him, fascinating instructions, and he's going to be like, "Whoa, I got to change. Let me approach this person from a whole nother." So we'll get there, but let's we're on text 11.
I want to mention
Now
something too.
I'll just say this: earlier, a few verses back. Did you want to say something? Or did you want to start?
Say something, yeah.
Go ahead. Say what you.
I was about to say. I've met like spiritual leaders that can really manifest anger, even though they're not angry, to correct you, and it really works. It's like, wow, I was like sort of chastised, but in that chastisement, I've become a better person. And then I've met people who are just actually controlled by anger, and sometimes because I got a big mouth and I can try to. I've found like when I try to correct with like a strong tone, it doesn't come off good. It doesn't get the desired results.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't.
exactly
I've recoiled from that type of correction with other people, and other people can do it well. I don't. So I don't like generally come off. If I want someone to change, I don't come off harsh. My thing is to sort of like put myself in that position and try to be empathetic and stuff like that.
Oh, you're so gentle, Raghunath.
I'm a gentle soul.
Thoughtful.
Gentle soul. But another point I wanted to mention was there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge. And sometimes you meet people who are very, very intellectual, but they're adharmic, they're sinful, they're nasty people, and they're incredibly genius, but they're just not wise. And when I read this story or this pastime of Judd Bart, I've met bhakti yogis who are not the most intellectual, but they have deep, deep wisdom. And like the car may not be going very fast, but it's going in the right direction. Whereas I know sometimes there's people who are very, very qualified, but they're heading south quick. You know what I mean? So this is another takeaway for me in this chapter, that it's got nothing to do with what you're doing necessarily in the material world, but it's the how you're doing it and the why you're doing it. And it's the bigger picture and the bigger direction of where we're going.
Okay.
That's my Judd Bart.
Thank you for that, Rogan.
Takeaway.
And so now in text 11 and 12, Jadabarta is going to be responded to some things the king said a few verses back. One thing he said is, he was up there on that palco and he said, "Are you dead despite the life within your body?" You know, that's like,
yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Insulting. And he also just kind of laid into him like, "Hey, you know, I'm the king here, you know, like I'm the master, you're the servant, get that, you know." So he's throwing those things out. So now rather than dropping the palanquin, yelling at the king, you know, he's going to respond. We'll see how he responds, how a self-realized, completely detached person, how they respond.
Text 11. My dear king, you have unnecessarily accused me of being dead, though alive. In this regard, I can only say that this is the case everywhere, because everything material has its beginning and end. As far as you're thinking that you are the king and the master, and thus trying to order me, this is also incorrect, because these positions are temporary. Today you are a king, and I am your servant. But tomorrow the position may be changed. You may be my servant, and I may be your master.
Oh.
These are temporary circumstances created by providence. This is the Maha zoom out, right? We have these small p positions in this world, and the capital, right? And they're always spinning around and changing positions. Sometimes they change even in this life, Kostuba, right? Sometimes it's like you're taking care of your kids, right? They're taking care of your kids. Next thing you know, you're incapacitated. Your kids are taking care of you. Sometimes you feeling, I'm going to educate my kids. Next thing you know, your kids are smarter than you, and they're telling you how to live your life and how to.
We saw an illustration of it just yesterday. Not that I want to get political or anything, but it's like you had Trump. One day he's the president, he's a leader, he's got. Next day he's actually like, arrested and sitting in front of a judge, right?
Being switching a dime.
Or like he was always the judge on his show, on his television show, right? Like he's judging everybody. You're fired. And now he's sitting in front of a judge. So like it switches. It switches. And so Judd Bart here saying, you're saying that I'm dead, although I'm alive. Well, it's a fact. Like the body is dead, right? Like the body itself has no life. I'm the life within the body. So this is the case with everybody. And now he's reminding him, and this really goes to the heart, although he was speaking in a very detached way, he had no anger, but he was just speaking truth. And he's saying, yeah, you're thinking that I'm nobody and you're everybody. It was said without ego, but he said, but things are just always shifting. They're changing. It could be tomorrow I'm the master, you're the servant. Think about that, So he's going to continue with that in text 12. He's got some interesting stuff to say.
My dear king, if you still think that you are the king and I am your servant, you should order me and I should follow your order. I can then say that this differentiation is temporary and it expands only from usage or convention. Imagine just this guy has never spoken, now is all of a sudden saying all these things.
Yeah.
How shocking this must be to the king. I do not see any other cause. In that case, who is the master and who is the servant? Everyone is being forced by the laws of material nature. Therefore, no one is master and no one is servant. Nonetheless, if you think that you are the master and I am the servant, I shall accept this. Please order me. What can I do for you?
That just shows that this isn't some backlash based on his ego, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. You can accept it. You may not accept it. And if you don't accept it, I'll still carry the palanquin. You just tell me what you want. If you think that you're the master, I can play the role. The external role is not important to me because he's got the internal realization. Now this is from the commentary. We mentioned yesterday, Raghunath, that earlier it had been said about the king Rahugana, Naradeva Abhimanam, right? That he had the abhimana, or the word abhiman, it means like a conception, but
Mm.
particularly commonly it's used to refer to a misconception, especially in relationship to oneself, like who am I, you know? And so he's saying, Naradevi abhimanam, you're thinking that you are the Naradeva. Naradeva is like a term for a king, but literally what it means is the God amongst the people, right? And so he's saying, okay, you're caught up in this conception, this Naradevi abhiman. Now, but he's saying, but these positions, they're just conventional. They're there for some time and then they shift and we use them, but there's no real substance to them. Now, this is what Prabhupada says in the commentary to text 11. He says, in this life, one may be a king. And in the next life, one may be a dog, according to karma, right? According to how we've lived, and we're forced into the next body. The spirit soul is in a deep slumber caused by the force of material nature. They are put in one type of condition and again changed into another type. Without self-realization and knowledge, conditional life continues. And one falsely claims himself a king, a servant, a cat, or a dog. These are simply different transformations brought about by the supreme arrangement. One should not be misled by such temporary bodily conceptions. Actually, no one is master within the material world, for everyone is under the control of material nature, right? Who can't stop growing? If I can't stop myself from growing old, I'm not the master, right? If I can't stop myself from dying, I'm not the master. So actually, no one is master within the material world, for everyone is under the control of material nature, which is under control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Yes. The commentary, but the point here is, it's showing us that we can operate, we can accept the role of king, or we can accept the role of carrier. Externally, we can work according to convention. There's a few radical yogis that will just walk away from all social conventions, right? And that's a valid way to practice, but very few people will do that successfully. But we can work within the conventional roles, but internally be thinking beyond those conventional roles, right? Like you're talking about parenting, like you play the role of a father, which means, you have to provide for your kids. You have to train your kid, discipline them to a certain extent, and give them care in so many different ways that a father does. But at the same time, within, you have other thoughts too, right? The thoughts that are beyond that convention. Right? Do you? No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
you're just reading the chat board again?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm looking in your eye. I'm looking in your eye.
Why don't you read the commentary to text 12, because it gets deeper into this.
Okay. This is text 12. It is said in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, Aham mameti. One thinks, I am this body, and in this bodily relationship, he is my master, he is my servant, she is my wife, and he is my son. All these conceptions are temporary due to the inevitable change of body and arrangement of material nature. We are gathered together like straws floating on the waves of an ocean. We were mentioning this analogy yesterday. Yeah. Straws that are inevitably separated by the laws of the waves. In this material world, everyone is floating on the waves of the ocean of nescience, as described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to write a little song here. He states that all men and women are floating like straws on the waves of the material nature. And if they come to the understanding that they are eternal servants of Krishna, they'll put an end to this floating condition. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Kama Esha Krodha Esha Raja Guna Samudbhavaha. Due to the mode of passion, we desire many things. And according to our desire or anxiety, and according to the order of the Supreme Lord, material nature gives us a certain type of body. For some time, we play master, we play as a master or a servant, as actor play on the stage under someone else's direction.
That's a great line, huh?
Woo! We're just playing. Okay, today you're going to be married. Today we're going to have you as a queen. Tomorrow as a pauper. Today, whatever it is, And we can say, I mean, it sounds crazy. Like, oh yeah, my next life I'm going to be a king. My next life I'm going to be a dog. Sounds so crazy. I got news for you. You've been a dog in this life probably at one point. You've probably been in a position where you got no respect, where people picked on you, where you were the uncool kid. And guess what? It's going to switch. The seasons are going to change. I know so many kids from high school who were the losers of high school that came on to be like big businessmen, you know, very, very like well respected. We're switching roles in this lifetime. What to speak of. If you don't believe in next lives, that's okay. I get it. It might be a leap of faith. In this lifetime, we're changing these roles. We have some self-identity. We have some, whatever you call it, good fortune. Just call it our karma. You have some karma. Things are shifting. We're moving out of one astrological period to another. Things shift, and then the roles and with that comes what? My ego. My ego will follow that to the next incarnation of myself.
This was a nice passage right here from Prabhupada. He said, "For some time we play as master or servant, as actors play on the stage under someone else's direction. While we are in the human form, we should put an end to this nonsensical stage performance."
Get off the stage. Get off the
yes.
stage. Stage dive into reality. That's your
Okay.
message today.
There you
Stage dive into reality.
You
Give up
got
the
that, man?
take off the costume while you're stage diving too.
Okay, very good, very good. Now,
Do you remember
Prabhupada,
stage dive, Costuba?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember your first stage dive?
I don't know the
I want a
first
band.
one.
I want a band that you
Huh?
stage dive to. Your
I
first.
don't know the band. I remember the place. It was Irving Plaza. You know, it had a good stage. Just
good-
right.
That's
you know.
a good stage. You don't remember the band? Come on,
No, I can't. You know.
throw out a name.
I mean, there's the bands I've seen then. It could have been Bad Brains. It could have been Kraut. Could have been.
Okay.
Could have been the Misfits.
Yeah, I remember my first stage dive.
Okay.
Yeah, to me it was like a shedding of a costume.
Was it, or was it wearing another costume, Raghunath?
It probably was that too.
Okay.
It was too.
But
UK sub
Prabhupada-
CBGB's 1982. Okay.
Out of CBGBs and back into Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada, he mentions this verse. It's Bhagavad Gita 337, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. This is an interesting verse, right? Kama Esha, Krodha. This is where like Arjuna turns to Krishna and says, Krishna, sometimes we just do stuff in life, even we know it's not right. It's almost like we're forced to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You ever feel like that, right?
As if we're yeah. Are you kidding? My senses are slapping me around. My senses are saying, okay, that's all. My senses are saying, my intelligence is like, okay, I'm full. That was a delicious, satisfying dinner. And then my senses are like, that's what my intelligence says. Then my mind starts saying, and my senses start saying, okay, great dinner, time for peanut butter and jelly. What are you talking about, senses? You're completely satisfied. You feel healthy. You feel light. You feel revitalized. And then my senses are like, don't listen. It's like the devil and the angel on the shoulder all the time. They're pulling us and tugging us, and we remain the slave or the master of those senses.
You know, if we do, well, this goes, you know, I said I was going to hold on my Makeover Monday till next week, but maybe I'll just share it right now since we're getting
okay.
into
What
this.
is it?
So I said, this is what I'm going to do. All right. A little self-discipline here. No eating. It's called a 3-2-1, Raghunath. Okay. 3-2-1.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Got it. What?
After 3 hours before let's say I go to sleep at 9 p.m. Right.
Yeah.
So then at 3 hours before that,
6. No more eating. Nothing in the mouth after 6.
No eating. No eating 3 hours before going to sleep. No drinking 2 hours before going to sleep.
Drinking. Okay. That's good.
And no screens 1 hour before going to sleep.
Oh, yeah. No screens.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay. So that's the discipline, right? I know that through this, I'll be healthier. I'll wake up, I'll sleep more deeply.
Does
I'll wake up
Pinterest
feeling
count as a
energized.
screen? Does Pinterest count as a screen?
Pinterest? What?
Pinterest.
Yes, it does. What are you scrolling Pinterest now?
Yeah.
Hold it.
I get ideas. I get ideas.
Let me get this straight. Mara, he went on this Instagram kind of half-hour limit, and now he's moved over to Pinterest. Is that what's going on? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's exactly what's going on.
It's all about regulating the senses. Cut it out.
So the point is, so already I'm really happy with this because you know, you wake up, if you wake up and and you haven't digested yesterday's food, you're just, it plays with your head. It makes you sluggish. You know, you can't be sharp. You can't be clear, you know? So you got to so you discipline. You say, right, yeah, 3 hours before sleeping, no more eating. I don't need to eat. I don't need any more nourishment in life. Any eating
You know
going
what?
on beyond this is.
I 100% agree with you. It's been tough because me and Mara had this in India. We just wouldn't eat dinner anymore. Our last meal was, a later lunch.
Yeah.
And we'd go over and we'd skip dinner. It was the best. But I find it hard with the kids because I sort of want to eat with them. You know what I mean?
But what time? So why don't you just eat at a time?
It's hard because sometimes they'll have sports and they don't get home till like 7:30. I go
Well,
to
then
bed pretty early.
Even you make an adjustment where like you sit with them while they're eating, or you eat some real
I know.
minimal
Drink
light
water. Hey, eat up. Here's the water. No
So
fun.
I said to myself, I'm not going to be fanatical about it because different circumstances change and so on. But
that means you don't want to take it seriously. Then be fanatical.
I knew you were gonna say
Write the
something
line
like
draw the line in the sand, Costuba.
I knew you were going to say something. No, but even like setting aside the details of that particular self-discipline that I've adopted, right? It's a Makeover Monday.
Yeah.
The fact is, if we don't have some kind of self-discipline like this in life, we're just gonna slide downhill, right? In terms of our health, in terms of our consciousness, in terms of how we waste time. We will just.
Why not the water? Why not the water?
I think I just sleep. I saw it recommended by someone else, but I think because you sleep better, so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. Probably, more than anything.
I'm with you. I'm with you with that.
Yeah. So you don't eat, you don't sleep, and then those screens. So you spend that last hour reading. Just picking up Mahabharata, picking up Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you spend that last hour of the day reading. That's a great way to spend that last hour of the day, right? And imagine if everybody just did, I'd imagine a lot of our people spend the last hour of their day, watching a screen, whether it's.
I think they all chant prayers.
I'm not saying all of, I'm just saying
they all chant prayers.
And so my point is, if every one of us said, I'm going to take that hour that I would use watching screens, and I'm going to use that hour reading Mahabharata, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Krishna book, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, that means that'll be 365 hours by the end of the year. And will you be a better person? Will you be in better consciousness? Will you be more learned? Will you feel better about yourself and about life if you spend that 1 hour a day that way? And I
love what you're saying, Costuba. People want they want an extraordinary life. And you can have it. You just got to start doing extraordinary things.
There you go.
You can't just expect, give me an extraordinary life. You got to do extraordinary things. So making those little changes starts to make life a little bit more magical.
It's a little change, but it's an extraordinary change, right?
It's extraordinary. And that's how you end up with an extraordinary life.
Yeah. It's
you
like
add the extraordinary activities to your life.
There you go.
Instead of just for it.
I mentioned before that once Vaisheshika Prabhu was giving a class, and it was kind of packaged like one of those self-help things, like 3 things to give you a deeper spiritual life, like immediately, right now, right?
Change your life today.
Yeah, it was like that. And I was thinking like, okay, nothing changes that quick or anything. But like the first one was read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. And I thought about it, I said, actually, it's a fact. If you read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, right now, it changes your life for the positive in a powerful, effective way. It really does,
Yeah.
So although it's a simple
radically change your life, read Krishna Lila every day. Make a commitment, or do it for 1 month. Do it for 1 week. 1 week. That can be your Makeover Monday. Today's Wednesday, but from Wednesday to Wednesday, read Krishna Lila, even if it's a little bit every day for 1 week, and see how that affects you.
There you go. And
change
like
your whole day. Wind down your day with Krishna Lila.
In one sense, it's a simple thing. Anybody can do it, but it is extraordinary. You are connecting to the pipeline of transcendental, like the real stuff, the real substance. Like we neglect that opportunity, and you just have to put a little the world's going to draw us away. It's going to make us forget how extraordinary that is. It's going to make us forget how powerful that is. You need a little self-discipline, saying, this is what I do every day. This is what I do every day. Yeah. And you just do it. Yeah. Right. And then it catches on. You start to go, this whole podcast is growing out of that. Right. We just decided,
sure.
Hey,
that's how it started.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're one way, and this is why the Sage groups are very, very good. When's the next time the Sage groups are starting up, Kostuba?
Well, we're on week 13 right now of 18 weeks. So, or maybe it's week 14. So there's something like 4 weeks left. And then there'll be maybe a break. So, but we'll start advertising again in about another month. Like, hey, time to sign up again.
Because this is huge for people. It's getting together with another person. And I find these breakaway Sage groups are really just people from the community coming together to read together. I know Banjo and Michelle do this. They come together with other people. They do Bhagavad Gita. They do find another person. If you feel like I'm not so strong enough, I don't have that determination, find someone who is determined and hang with them. Call them up, reach out to them. This is why we have this whole community. This is why we still do this on Zoom. And this is why there's all these other threads, the Discord thread that we have. It's not just to create community. It's to create a transcendental community. There's lots of crazy communities out there. This is a community that wants to encourage each other without judgment, to lift each other a little bit higher. It's beautiful to witness.
It is. Apparently there's a Yamuna group out there. Yamuna group represent Tom from
Yamuna group?
Who's this? What is this Yamuna group? And what do we know about it?
Join the Yamuna group.
Okay.
Oh,
all right, I think that's it for today, Rob. We're out of time.
That went fast. Mara, takeaways for today. Give us some valuable insight for our day. Some little nugget, a little goodie.
It works if you work it.
Works if you work it, and you're worth it.
Are you using anger, or is anger using you?
Ooh,
ouch!
That is a good one.
It's not what you're doing, but how and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're thinking about that.
Digest that one. Yes.
Our position is always changing.
Shifting.
That would be a weird T-shirt. Right?
I'm the king next time.
No. We've lost him.
Oh, Raghunath, please. There it goes.
Position is always changing. Okay.
No one is master of material nature.
Well, someone is, just not us.
Right. Yeah.
What about Krishna?
Well,
Krishna's the master.
no person, not human.
He's a person.
And the float.
He's a person.
Oh, he's
Mara.
still-
What
Hey,
have
Mara,
you been
careful now.
studying?
Yeah.
And
Okay. We aren't master of material nature. How's that?
There we
Is
go.
that better?
There we go.
There we go. And the floating condition.
And the floating condition.
Yeah.
That would be a great T-shirt.
That's a good
I would
t-shirt.
never wear.
Okay.
And the floating condition.
Do extraordinary things for an extraordinary life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That is a mug I would drink out of.
And
From somebody who's drinking out of a Mandalorian mug.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah.
myself for my Mandalorian mug.
Right. King today, dog tomorrow.
That
oh,
is a T-shirt.
that's heavy. That's a good one.
And-
King today, dog tomorrow. I like that.
King today, dog tomorrow.
Yeah. And stage dive into reality.
Oh,
Yeah, stage dive into reality. Woo! Thanks to everybody for joining us, especially the We Love Mayapur crew, Sue Davy and Prajumna Prabhu. Thank you for your inspirational work.
Oh,
Give us
I
some
get it.
prayers. Give us
That-
some
that you-
prayers that we can all go to Mayapur.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Yamuna sage group means that's our Yamuna.
Yamuna Jelly, right?
It's either Yamuna Gel. Yeah, it's probably Yamuna Gel. She's got two.
She's got two sage groups. She's doubling up in sage groups.
Yeah, Tara's
I got
doubling
a
up.
love package from Yamuna Jelly. She sent me and Mara some jellies, some jams,
Okay.
And a strawberry lavender jam.
strawberry lavender jam,
What about marmalade?
Meyer lemon marmalade.
Tompkins is going to work helping the Happy Girl Kitchen today.
What's that? Can't hear you, Mary.
Sounds so fun. Roger Tompkins is going to help out Yamuna Jelly at Happy Girl Kitchen today.
Get out.
Thanks to everybody joining us on Zoom. Thanks for all the others out there. I got a feeling We Love Mayapur crew everybody's an other for them. They have no, when you put this stuff out, you never know who listens to this stuff.
Right.
So it just shows like these people's their sincere intention has a auspicious ripple effect at touching so many people. So that's a good statement. We work on ourselves, and it has a ripple effect going out to our little universe. And sometimes your little universe ain't so little; it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. I want to thank all the others out there. I want to thank the whole community. And I want to thank all the people that contribute and keep this thing going. All the Patreon members, thank you so much. It's community supported. If you like what we're doing, you can be part of that Patreon community. Once you join, then you get entrance to a whole archive of Patreon classes, lectures, yoga classes, Ayurvedic classes, all tons of stuff. It's like a treasure trove of interesting info. Now, put your hands together in the air. Think of where you'd like to be in stage dive. Put your T-lock on your forehead.